What's going on, people, and welcome to Man Knows Football. You are here with Guni. A day after that disgraceful performance, Chelsea won, Everton Youth won in the Premier League at Stamford Bridge. Yes, I'm saying Everton Youth because they had a lot of first team players, first choice key players missing from their squad. Luca Digne not in the squad. Calvert-Lewin obviously is injured. Gray not in the squad. Townsend obviously injured, so he's not in the squad. Seamus Coleman, he was on the bench. And that's just a few players that I've named, and I'm sure that there's quite a few more. Yerry Mina not on the, that's six. So, and there's a couple of other players that I've missed. So they were absolutely decimated with injury, so there was no excuse regardless of what team Chelsea fielded. We should have come away with 3 points. Yes, I understand that we had some news that some players tested positive for COVID. Romelu Lukaku, Callum Hudson-Odoi and Timo Werner. But even without them, like I said, I still maintain that we should have come away from Stamford Bridge last night with 3 points. So, Chelsea, 2 wins in the last 6 in all competitions, 4 points off the top of the table now. I honestly feel that this title chase is pretty much over. The prime opportunities we had to win, the games that we had to win, the Burnleys, the Leeds, the Evertons, those were the 3 points that we had to get to have any chance of winning the title. Now, remember, we still got to go to Man City, Liverpool, they still got to come to us. It's not looking good, and there's some more tough teams out there. West Ham still got to come to the Bridge. I understand that later on this season that we're going to have our injuries coming back, but by then it might be too little too late, being honest. But let me know in the comments if you think we've got any chance of winning major silverware this year. But let's get on to yesterday's game. 80% possession, 25 shots and 10 on target, 1 goal. Against Burnley, 25 shots, 1 goal scored. Against Manchester United, 24 shots, 1 goal scored. So I say that to say this. The issue here is not chance creation, in my opinion. Yes, I know we were getting a lot of half chances, but we also do create clear-cut chances, but we are not clinical. I'm going to say this. Outside of Romelu Lukaku, we have 0 natural finishers. And even with Romelu Lukaku, while we're using him the way we're using him, it's basically useless. Consistently with his back to goal, yes, as well, he's been having a rough patch with injuries and not had a run in the squad. But even when we do use him, it does not look inspiring. I'm rarely seeing this guy attacking the space in front of him and running at defenders. 9 times out of 10, I'm seeing him with his back to a defender, holding them off and trying to play somebody in. That's not the best Lukaku we're seeing. But Lukaku wasn't playing this game. Let's talk about the chances, and particularly in the first 10 minutes. We're going to start off with Reece James's chance, one-on-one. It was a great ball. Great ball from Jorginho. Excellent vision to see that run from Reece James. Good run as well. Gets inside behind the defence. On that right side, he's basically one-on-one with Jordan Pickford. Has the whole of the far post and that side of the goal to choose from. But Reece James decides to go for the near post where Jordan Pickford has already covered that angle. And it goes wide. He was 100% supposed to put that ball across Jordan Pickford. And we have seen Reece James in more difficult positions, having to hit half volleys and volleys across that goal with no issue. Reece James, for the standard that I hold him at, should have been putting that away. So I'm quite disappointed with that chance. But the early signs look good, and we look like we was going to be all over Everton. But my concern throughout the whole game was, are we going to be taking our chances? Mason Mount, we'll discuss his chance. Mason Mount did not look up to see where Jordan Pickford's position was in the goal. He hit the ball straight at Jordan Pickford when he had the far post and all that angle to choose from. Had he had been aware of the goalkeeper's position, I guarantee you that would have been 1-0 and the game would have been completely different. But that just goes to show the lack of killer instinct that's in the squad. 3 sitters in the first 10 minutes that could have really got us 3-0 up and out of sight. And I do believe that had Reece James had taken that opportunity, the floodgates would have opened and it would have been a battering of an Everton, really, that they really deserve from a team that's quote unquote supposed to be chasing a title. 80% possession. People are going to rant and rave and say, oh, but look, Chelsea were the dominant team, they're going in the right direction. No, we're not. Possession means absolutely nothing when you have no output. It means nothing to me. We can pass the ball sideways, we can pass the ball forward, we can even have the most beautiful through balls played to our forwards one-on-one on the keeper. But if we're not scoring, that is all they are. Nobody cares. At the end of the season, nobody remembers these things. All they remember is the position of where your team finished. And I wanted us to be holding the title at the end of the season. The way it's looking for me, it's not looking good. 3 games in this month that we definitely should have won. We definitely should have beat Burnley. We 100% should have beaten Manchester United. We 100% should have beaten Everton. 9 points those games we should have had, but instead we took 1 point from each game. This Sunday against Wolves, I'm concerned about that, because if we keep missing opportunities and we do have the players out that we currently have out, then I don't see us winning this game or possibly even getting a draw. Wolves, we're lucky because they need 100 chances to score, and hopefully if we're defensively switched on, because even there I'm starting to get worried now. If we're switched on, we'll be able to deal with that. But even our defence is looking shaky now. Is it that lack of protection from that midfield? Are we missing Kovacic? Are we missing Kante? Are we missing these guys? That's not an excuse for what I saw against Everton yesterday. It just felt like, although yes we were getting chances, the attack still felt so rigid. Like, it felt like it's missing that individual brilliance, that spark going forward, that individual flair that's willing to take risks and put balls in the back of the net. Ziyech in the first half, I realised I was getting frustrated with him with some of the chances that he was trying to take, some of the angles he was trying to shoot from. First of all, I wasn't even a fan of him starting out on the left anyway. Ziyech does his best work on that right, cutting inside. Yeah, Pulisic has done a good job. Pulisic playing in that false 9, I felt sorry for him, man. But then again, do we come back to Kai Havertz and say, look, when Kai Havertz is playing, at least we get a couple of goals. So do we miss the presence of Kai Havertz? Is there something that the fan base with Kai Havertz are not picking up? Because when he's playing that false 9 position, we look more likely to score. Yes, I know his goal scoring form himself hasn't been great, but what is it about Kai Havertz? Like, that question has got to be asked. Let me know in the comments if you think we miss Kai Havertz. I'm literally just asking the question. I'm not saying that's the answer. I'm literally just asking the question. I'm interested to know you lot's opinion, as always. It felt like our passing was too slow in the final third at times. Opportunities we could have broken with the counter. Everton, the only time really when we had opportunities was when they was actually trying to get the ball into our half. When they actually wanted to start playing. The rest of it, teams are happy to sit back against Chelsea. They're happy to sit back and park the bus and get that 1-2 opportunities in the game because they're confident that they might score. They're confident that they might take their 1 or 2 opportunities. But let's get into the goals. Mason Mount on the 70th minute opens the scoring for Chelsea, and honestly at that point I am thinking this Everton team, there's no way for them to come back. Half of them is their youth squad and they've barely done anything throughout the game. It's only been Chelsea pressure from Chelsea. It took 4 minutes for an Everton set piece and comedy from Saul, who I never want to see in a Chelsea shirt ever again. And if we have to pay a fine to terminate this guy's loan in January, then so be it. Because he is the worst player I've ever seen in a Chelsea shirt. And I'm going to say way worse than Alvaro Morata. Way worse than Bakayoko. I'm putting him at the Djilobodji level. I swear down, bruv. Yeah, and I'm not even trying to banter. That brother is at like Djilobodji levels, blood. Yeah, I don't want to see him back at the club. And do you know why I love Marina Granovskaya? Is the fact that she forced it. That it was only an option to buy and not a mandatory buy. Because if it had been a mandatory buy, I swear down, I think I would have gone mental. Saul, you need to get the hell out of the Premier League and go back to La Liga. I never want to see him again. That was shocking. Absolutely shocking marking. No awareness. Everybody was in. Look, when I look at it, everyone had their man or they were in the right zone. But Saul had absolutely no awareness of where Braithwaite was. And it was just it was a nice connection. All Braithwaite had to do was just direct the ball and just get a true connection to the ball. And Mendy had no chance. And that's exactly what happened. As soon as he scored that on the 74th minute, in my head, I ain't going to lie to you. I did not think we was going to come back. I didn't think this was going to be a Leeds all over again, because those opportunities, winning penalties in them minutes, come very few and far between, especially for Chelsea. So I was just like, do you know what? The best we're going to get out of this is 1 point. And it could even be a thing where Everton could actually score. And had Iwobi had picked out Doucouré, it might have even all been 2-1. I swear down. We actually got lucky to come out of that game with 1 point. But, like, look, there's so many things to analyse about the game. And I've got to look at Thomas Tuchel. And this time round, because I've seen quite a few people, they're being a little harsh on the manager. Now, I have had my criticisms in the past about the fluidity about that front three and the lack of clinicalness in that front three. But I can't blame Tuchel for this, because we had so many opportunities to score. The chances were being created, but we just were not clinical enough. Absolutely, we were not clinical enough. And this is what is going to stop us from winning the Prem. Whether we get our squad depth back or not, we still have to be more clinical. Something needs to happen, whether it's systematically, which I don't think it is. Like I said, if we're creating the chances, the players need to take responsibility and put them away. They're professional ballers, for goodness sake. So it might be a thing where having a direct winger like Chiesa in the squad, who actually is hungry for goals and wants to get goals, them selfish players who want to score, might be a help in this squad. Lukaku, not having him with his back to goal all the time, that's definitely going to be a help. Timo Werner, he's not the answer. We already know this. Kai Havertz are willing to give a chance, because regardless of what anyone says, I'm convinced that there's a player in there. Christian Pulisic as well, there's a player in there as well, and he's not getting injured. So far so good, fingers crossed he's not getting injured. But something needs to happen with this attack, because I'm not a fan of our defensive players being the main guys who are starting to be the chance creators and the goal scorers now. We're relying on Rudiger to be making runs from way deep, making Ronaldinho-esque runs, beating man, getting into the box, either scoring and creating chances. And I'm seeing people getting pissed at him when he's not scoring. He's a centre-back, for Christ's sake. That's not his job. Reece James is getting a lot of goals. Yes, it's good at the time. Yes, it's great for players all around the squad to be getting goals. But at some stage, we need a chunk of our goals coming from that front three, especially with the money that we've invested in this squad. The returns are just not good enough, and something needs to be done. When the injuries come back, I want to see... We need them players that are hitting 15, 20 goals a season. Man City have that. Liverpool have that. I thought we was going to have that this season. Yes, the injuries have messed us up, and you can see that it's completely affected the style of play, particularly down that left side. Not having Kovacic or Kante to protect Alonso is been a strain on us. Alonso's limitations has been a strain on us. Losing Ben Chilwell, it's massive. He's integral to how we play because of what he has. Chilwell's got a bit of pace about him. He can get up and down. He can stop a counter attack. The amount of times I see teams getting forward and Alonso is way out of his position because he can't get back, and to see him at the centre of the midfield and there's a Ziyech over there that's taken up his position because he can't get back, or Hudson-Odoi or Jorginho, whoever it may be, it's not good enough. And unfortunately, if we don't get this Ben Chilwell situation sorted and we don't get Kovacic or Kante back in the lineup and playing, it's going to take an absolute miracle for Chelsea to be winning the league. And listen, I've just realised I've gone on for about 15 minutes talking about Chelsea. But yeah, this one is just me venting my frustrations to you lot. I'm sorry I didn't really go into too much detail about the game. I did try my best, but like yesterday I was absolutely fuming. I'm just, like I said to you before, I'm not just trying to come on camera to start screaming and shouting and ranting and to get the easy views. No, man, I want to try and be as objective as I can, and I want to interact with you guys as well. So obviously let me know your thoughts down there in the comments as well. Also like, share, subscribe, you get me. But yeah, man, it's looking like sad times for Chelsea. But for the rest of the 19 teams in the Premier League, like I said, if you're looking for a Christmas gift, either 3 points or a point, come to Stamford Bridge or invite us to your ground, because we seem to be the Santa Claus of the Premier League. But guys, let me know, do you think there's a chance Chelsea are going to win a major trophy this year? Because look, the Champions League, it does restart in February, which does give us a little bit of time to get our injuries back. So that might be a different case altogether. But hopefully, even before that, hopefully football does continue in England and it doesn't get locked down. There have been quite a few COVID cases, games have been postponed, so hopefully they will continue to keep the Premier League going. We don't want to see it stopped. But to everybody that's watching, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, make sure you stay safe. Bless.